The Drupal 7 Views module is the single most popular of all of the contributed modules in the Drupal 7 community. It's so popular that it's being baked in as core functionality in Drupal 8, which, as we've discussed, is expected out sometime in 2014. The purpose of the Views module is to take content and other system data and render it as dynamic pages, blocks, and more. You can find this module at drupal.org/project/views, and you could download and install it the way you would any other module. In the Views module, a view is treated as a collection of content or comments or other types of data available within your particular Drupal instance. You define a view, and then the view supports one or more displays, perhaps as a page or a block, an RSS feed, or what is known as an attachment to another display. Once installed, you would find that at the Structure Views menu, you would have an interface allowing you to define the data collection and create a page or a block. We'll introduce this module in this particular lesson and come back to it and go into it in more detail later in the course. Let's go in and take a look. First, I will go and enable my Views module, which I've already installed. And I'm going to enable both the Views and the Views UI module and save configuration. Now, this module does rely on another module called Chaos Tools, which comes pre-installed in the Acquia Dev desktop. If you're using a different Drupal installation, you might need to go to drupal.org, locate this module, and install it, as it is a dependency for the Views UI module. Once the modules are enabled, we can go to the Structure menu now, and we have a new structural element called Views. If I click through here, we'll see that this particular module comes with a series of templates that could be enabled and used simply as written. We'll look into those more a little bit later in the course. For now, I'm going to add a new view. This takes me through to what is sometimes called the Views Wizard interface, and I'm going to create a new view which I'll call Book List. And for this, I want to show content, although notice the other types of data that could be pulled from the system. And I'm going to show content of type book. Here we're filtering by our available content types. And in this case, I do want it to be sorted as newest first, although I would have other choices as well, as you can see. You'll see in this interface that we have a choice to create a page or create a block. Again, this is a wizard interface used to quickly create these two basic types. We'll go further into the interface later in the course. In this case, the default page title Book List works for me, as does the default path generated through using the Path Auto module, which we mentioned earlier and we'll look at more later. And I do, in this case, want to go ahead and display the default and unformatted list of teasers with links and without comments. I want to display up to 10 items before a forward and back pager would be added to the list, but I do want to add a menu link. I want to add a link to my main menu, although I could add it to any menu defined for my particular instance. And the default link text, Book List, does work for me as well. It's interesting to note that I could include an RSS feed. I'm not going to here, nor am I going to create a block. I'm just going to save and exit for now. Once I do so, I see the dynamic page that's being generated at the URL specified, book-list. And I see it is an unformatted list of teasers of the two book nodes that I've defined in my system so far. But it's also been added to a menu. If I go out to the main screen here, well, you'll see in the upper right-hand corner, I have a new item on my main menu, Book List, which I can click through to, and it's now presenting a dynamically generated list of content nodes. Later in the course, we'll learn how to further modify the display and work with other types of display from the Views module.